Hey guys, Anna here, and today let's take a look at our very first raid in Global. The chocolate pudding, the chocolate flan raid, which will be here in less than a day. I've also added this timestamp thing, which is pretty cool. You can click, hover around and skip around to see which part you're interested in, and you can just click on that. But please sit down and listen to me ramble the intro for the next, I don't know, a minute or two, just chill guys. Okay, originally in JP, I believe this was the second raid, or actually the first working raid since the Final Fantasy XIV raid had so many issues back then that they had to simply shut it down, and obviously many players were not very happy about the whole situation. I was actually really happy because not only I don't have to do the raids, but Gumi keep throwing compensation and even extended the Final Fantasy XIV event for I think like 2 weeks or something like that. Okay, so why chocolate pudding raid? It's because this was originally designed and released during Valentine's Day in JP. And if you watch enough anime, especially slice of life genre, then you probably know that chocolate plays a big part of Valentine's Day in Japan. Context here in Global, it's definitely off since Valentine's Day is like what, 4 months ago. Like, come on, it's already summer in most places. Well, it's actually 24/7 here in Singapore. We don't have the 4 seasons. So just please ignore us. Anyway, since this is what they planned for us, means this is what we're gonna be doing for the next 1 week. I don't know why raids are so short since our events usually run for like around 2 weeks. Well, enough backstory. Let's get into the details of this raid. Okay, firstly, I'm gonna be referencing a couple of sources for this guide based on a Word document, the Japanese wiki, Altimia, and finally a raid guide written on Discord by none other than our Blind Eye, which happens to be one of our guild sub leader. So if you have some time to read and want to understand more about the raids, feel free to do so. I'll link them in the description below. I highly recommend taking the time to understand, at least for the first raid, since most of the stuff will be carried over to the next raid anyways, except for the bosses. So if you want a TLDR version of the raid guide, Blind Eye's written guide is easiest to digest. And if you want more pictures, I recommend Altima. And finally, if you want a lot more details in text, then it will be the Word document. Okay, so my job is, to gather all this information, all these 3 sources, and maybe even more, and translate them into this video format, which you guys are watching right now, and hopefully understand a little bit more about this event. Anyway, let's start with the first point. Okay, so number 1, what are raids? Raids are basically event stages that also level up with you as the boss gets stronger each time you defeat it. Thankfully, the rewards also become better each time as you complete them. One thing to note is raids are actually random events, very much like Chocobo Expedition Fever or the Whimsy Shop. They are only triggered after running story, event, or hard quests, so not in multis. You can choose to do it immediately or later, like those randomly triggered events, so you can just click next. Ultima also confirmed that the raids can be triggered if you use the skip tickets, so it's another good alternative way to trigger the raids if you don't have much time to spend grinding this event. Okay, so I'm gonna refer to Ultima here, this website. They actually talk about raids. Okay, just one full page. What is raid actually? So this is how it will look like in our event page. This is the exact same raid that we're gonna be having. So this block right here, and then right here they actually say consume a raid op and challenge the boss. Also, one thing to note that raid consumes raid ops, which is generated 1 per hour. So this is the reason why you want to OTKO as much as possible to avoid wasting ops. Okay, simply means try to kill the boss in the same round that they spawn. Okay, it's not always possible, but you try to do it with as little raid ops as possible. Okay, I'm gonna go to Ultima right here to show you guys the event. Okay, so this is Ultima. So this page is just for raids. So they explain what are raids and things like that. Okay, and this is how it looks like on the event page, and when you enter the raid page is exactly how it looks like. Okay, so when you want to start the raid, you actually have these options to choose how many people to bring along. So you can choose to do the raid solo, 2 men, or 4-man raid. Okay, in the case you choose solo raid, then in your multi part is where you bring those units in the raid. Okay, regarding this part, I'm gonna head back to the game and head back to formation and show you the differences between the 3 types. Okay, so in the case that you choose solo raid, then in your multi part, which is right here, you'll be bringing 4 of these units here. Okay, and then if you choose 2-man or join a 2-man raid, then the first 2 units will be used in the raid as shown in these symbols here. Okay, right here, you see, this is actually 2-man. This is actually a 4-man team. This is 2-man team, and this is solo. So solo you bring 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 2-man you bring these 2 guys here, the first 2 units. And of course, finally, the usual first man will be brought in if you host or join a 4-man raid, which is almost always what you're gonna be doing. So the first guy right here, mine is Orlando right here. To top it off, the shop will also be selling skip tickets, but I'm not sure if everything will be exactly the same here in global. So number 2, why do raids? Rewards, rewards, rewards. They usually reward you with really good gear that you definitely not want to miss out on. For this raid, we should be getting the Alexandrite ring, which has 3 types like all equipment we have so far. Let me scroll through here in the website. Okay, I'm gonna be referencing Altima since they have all the images and all that. So as usual, they have 3 types of the ring, like all equipment we have so far, but only 2 is recommended this time. The type aim actually give you plus 20 accuracy and plus 5 to all elemental resistance when you plus 5 it. You know how tedious it is to get to plus 5. Also type crit gives you 10 accuracy and also 15 crit. So this ring is basically a TMR stats ring given for free. Also saying here there's a vital type, but we don't do that here. Well, I mean, you gotta work your ass off for this ring, but still, you know, it's free. So now that you decided, fine, let's just do this raid or not. Where do we start? So number 3 right here, understanding the boss. Yes, if possible, pick the boss out for dinner like you would in real life to get that promotion you long deserve. And understand which element it is and what weaknesses and resistance it has. In this chocolate pudding case, okay, chocolate blunt case, he is actually weak to shooting and magic type attacks and strong against slash and strike attack type. This means units like Lucia is gonna do really well along with Medina, and since he's earth element, he's weak to wind element but strong against lightning. Once again, Lucia is gonna have the extra damage bonus, but Orlando is gonna suffer a lot in this raid, which I'm gonna be talking more later on who to bring. The next thing to note is the boss race. I know guys, this is a rather sensitive topic in recent times, but I rest assure you this is vital to your victory in the upcoming raid. For some reason, chocolate pudding race, okay, chocolate fun race is aquatic. Just because his jelly is related to fish, okay, maybe related to water. So earthly water boss, okay? You can use cards like the New Year one. In global, it's named as Greetings from Afar. It's kind of lost in translation. And also Espers like Tetra, Ramu, and Ogre has the aquatic healer in their ability board. So I don't recommend doing that, you know, unless you know that you're not going to be using them. But more on that later on as well. Now, point number 4, the fight itself. Note that the boss will keep getting stronger each fight. So to say, he will level up each time you defeat him. There's actually a cap on his level though. I doubt most of us would reach there, but his max level is actually 150 with a total of 120,000 HP. That's a lot. You have to kill the boss within 20 player turns, which means in multi, 4 players will have around 5 turns or so to deal as much damage as possible. Okay, so this is where chaining comes in. So the emphasis on chaining is very apparent here in raids, because everything you do, you need to minimize, maximize damage, and it's crucial to utilizing all the raid ops. So what if you can't kill the boss in 20 turns? Well, don't worry, you just need to spend another raid op until you kill the boss. I won't be talking about the map itself, but I can give you a rough guide how it looks like. It's gonna look like this. And then next, move on to the rewards. Okay, number 5, the rewards. As mentioned, the main reason to be running this raid is for this ring of Alexandrite. So the list of rewards via the different levels, I'm gonna be showing you Altimia again. Okay, Altimia. So these are the rewards that you will be getting. Okay, so basically a bunch of raid medals to exchange for even more rewards and some guild. I won't be going into the details for the ranking reward, but I'll just briefly show you guys right here what it's gonna be. Scroll right down. Okay, so this is a ranking reward. Okay, so no matter what, we will be getting some visuals from this raid. I'm not sure what's with the translation. Genso Ishi, so that's visuals. Okay, and very likely if you participate in this raid, you'll be getting the hammers as well. Too bad it's so hard to even just get one multi from this raid. One multi is you're gonna be like top 11 to top 50. Okay, heck, even half a pull is you're gonna be like the top 500 in the whole raid. So basically, things you wanna exchange are also pretty standard. You know, Rainbow Orbs, Rainbow Rocks are the must to get in this event. I also recommend getting the Guild Snappers hammer as well. On the bright side, the rewards does get better every time you kill the boss. So more guilds and more medals it is. Let's head back over to the main page. Okay, number 6. Who to bring? Okay, obviously Lucia will be the MVP here in this raid. This raid is probably made for her, with the boss weaknesses to wind and also missile type, which is basically Lucia's elemental type and attack type. Other than Lucia, units like Medina is a close runner-up with the boss weaknesses to magic by 10%. Yerma is also really good here. She is also wind element here though, she's slash attack. And then also we have Miranda and also Ayaka as well. Okay, then number 7. Conversely, who not to bring? As an Orlando owner, I have to say that yeah, this is not exactly a raid for him because he suffers from negative 15% slash resistance and also negative 10% lightning resistance. But if he's all you got, then please use Divine Ruination to reduce the lightning resistance of the boss. So maybe you can just run a full team of Orlando as usual, you know. It's not gonna do as much damage as Lucia, but next, also you shouldn't bring pure tanks that does so little damage that it doesn't make sense. Okay, you don't really need to tank much for this event because this is more like a DPS race in this raid. And also strike units like Etra and Shiza, they suffer quite a lot in this raid as well. Okay, number 8. What other options do we have? Okay, I'm gonna be referring to Blind Eyes Guide in Discord right here. So who is good in this raid that is not on the list? Helena Leonis. Helena has Imperial, which lowers the boss elemental resistance by 25%, which also does wind damage. So she will be nice damage on the side while supporting the team at the same time. The next one we have is Ramza. Ramza can shout and buff multiple enemy eliminating turns required to set up, which is a wonderful turn efficient strategy to consider. He also have access to Koton in Ninja Sub, which does not do slash attack, so his damage is okay since his strength versus a boss defense. Right here I have to say that he probably include Ramza because he's mainly a Ramza user, okay, you know, just saying guys. And then next up we have Ryu, which is budget Frederica that can make use of the negative 15% missile attack if the boss is weakness to missile attack. Also shout out to his and Frederica's blackout skill since boss has 0 resistance to blind, so blind is essentially useful for survivability right here. And then finally we have Mon on Night sub. Mon on Night is an excellent bruiser with a high availability. He offers speed break, which is fantastic for chaining and offers a slew of debuff that can aid in toppling the raid boss. Okay, we're gonna break it. Okay, and then units with steal time. To name a few, Ramada, Shiza, Ryu, SR Vadim, Armia can also use steal time if heavily invested to delay the boss attacks, and promote chaining as well as delaying the boss turn, adding increases survivability to the party as a whole. I'm not gonna read the bottom text. And then number 9, which vision cards to use? I actually have some vision cards here to show you guys. Is vision card to... Okay, right here. Greetings from afar. This is actually a New Year card in JP. Look at how they dress. It's actually preparing for the New Year. Okay, so why greetings from afar? Because of this party ability, Aquatic Killer up. Okay, mine is like 13 plus 1, so 14 because I just 1-star this. Okay, so this card will add a lot of damage, you know, to the whole team, as well as other cards, you know, like to boost your main DPS. If you're using mainly slash attack, Echoing Screams is good, even though the boss has resistance to slash attack. If you really have to bring, you know, slash types, then this is the card to bring. And then next we have Vow of Love. This is actually for the individual, you know, slash attack up, and then you can actually generate hit. More importantly, it is the attack up by 16%. Okay, and then for magic users, you have Trousers. I don't know how to read these. Trousers. Okay, this is for magic attack up 18%. All these cards are really good to boost the main DPS. So just bring cards that, you know, just adds your damage. And then next I want to talk about Espers. Okay, I don't have right here, but Tetra, Ramu, and Ogre all has Aquatic Healer. I only has Ogre. I'm gonna show you Ogre ability bot. I never even touch him at all. Okay, so he actually have Aquatic Healer, but to be honest, I don't recommend specking them just for this event because they are only useful in very limited places like this raid and maybe also like Guild Chamber. But yeah, I don't think it's really worth the crystals to level them. I mean, unless you're 100% absolutely sure that you're not gonna be using this Esper and don't mind investing in those precious Esper leveling materials. Okay, you know how limited they are on this spare Esper, then I say go ahead. On top of that, Tetra also has Shoot Up, which is great for Lucia's team. It's definitely gonna be great to invest in shooting up for Lucia. And then Ramu will also be nice for the magic team like for Medina, and finally slash attack teams like Yerma. And finally, Ogre himself will be nice for slash attack up teams. Okay, he has like attack up, Aquatic Healer, and then slash attack up, you know. He's definitely great for this raid for slash attackers, you know, like Yerma. And anyway, also use Esper that boosts your damage higher as well. So if you're using a physical attacker, then use this filter here and then filter in physical attacker. So filter in like attack, and then you can choose like the Iron Giant or the Behemoth. And better yet, if you have Odin, you can actually use him as well. For magic type, you just go to filter magic type, and then right here is Cactuar. Cactuar is actually really good because if you don't have Shiva or Ramuh, then you can actually use Cactuar because he also has magic attack up. And I only have like 5% right here. Yeah, in JP I actually have both Shiva and Ramuh, which is pretty insane. Right here in global, you can see my luck is yeah. So now we know who to bring, what to bring, and what not to bring. Let's talk about number 11, the strategy. Now we need to know when to bring who. Okay, so this is really important for team comms because mainly for chaining, there are basically two types of strategy for this raid. Missile strat is to bring Lucia and build the damage around her. The quadruple shot is perfect for chaining and building up damage, and to top it off with dual trigger as a finisher skill. Lucia can also buff other Lucias with firing stance as well. Passive, you can use Missile Mastery and focus for maximizing DPS. Build up is also great for agility boost to get faster turns and easier chains. Even if you do not have Lucia, but you want to chain with her, you can also bring Ryu, which is essentially budget Lucia. It's obviously the weaker option here, but if that's all you got, then he's gonna be a good second option as well. He has Aim Fire, which buff missile damage and can also use Steal Time to reduce the CT on the boss, and also reduce some damage. If the boss don't hit, then you won't die, kind of thing. He also has Double Shot and Arm Shot to deal some damage and add to the chain combo. Another option will be Sosha, since she's wind type. He also has a Ranger sub, which also has wind missile attack. Okay, let me just go to the units. Okay, Ryu right here. Ryu is actually dark elemental, but he has a shooting type, so they can actually chain. This Arm Shot, and then this is Double Shot, and finally he can Steal Time, which half CT and raise his own agility for 3 turns. Okay, then next we want to talk about Sosha. Sosha right here. Okay, despite her mainly being a dragon, one of her sub skill here is Ranger, and then since she's wind type, it's a win-win situation. Okay, so for her shooting skills, she has Charge, and then she has Super Charge, and then finally she has Mega Charge. Okay, so this all actually can chain well with Lucia as well. Okay, obviously, should only be used with your guild or when you're likely hosting and such, since people will most likely kick the non-UR units for co-op. Just one level 99 UR, like a full team of Lucia, etc. I mean, they have a point. You're using these precious raid ops, you don't want to be wasting them. Okay, and then finally we have Frederica. I don't have her, so I can't show you. She's also another option as well, and she definitely won't be frowned upon because she's UR, kind of thing. Despite having an obvious elemental disadvantage to Earth, since she's lightning, and therefore doing 10% less damage. Though her shooting type actually makes up for it and even give her an overall boost of 5%. But the problem is she would break the chain not being wind elemental. Okay, next strat I want to be talking about magic strat. I'm gonna be talking about this really quickly. First thing to note is that magic does not chain at all. Only physical type elemental attacks chain. Magic teams are slightly more advanced as they require a lot of debuffs for them to actually work properly. There are mainly 3 elements for magic teams in this raid, namely the ice, water, and light type. Okay, ice team obviously revolves around Medina. My Medina is only level 60. I just need one more rainbow orb to reach level 74, and then 113 more shards, and additional 2 rainbow orbs to unlock LB3. So Medina, she can actually use Cosmo Plume, her limit burst. Okay, if you want to go to look at her limit burst, you can actually come here. Okay, her Cosmo Plume lowers ice resist of target within range for 3 turns that deals L damage based on the caster's magic stat. Okay, so you want to hit this first and then lower the ice resistance of the opponents, of the enemies. Okay, and then the next skill, very important, is the Shell. It lowers the spirit for targets within range for 3 turns, which in turn increases more damage to the boss. And one thing to highlight is Flare. Even though it's super powerful, it should be avoided as it consumes too much AP, 50 AP into it, as compared to, say, if you use Blizzagar. Okay, it's like 30 AP. And then in the same ice team, other weaker options like Valet is actually possible. Okay, this is Valet right here. He can also be part of the ice team. Here's the Shao. He also has Blizzara. And one thing to note, he also can use Cura. But if you want to use his Disha ability, then you got to make this as his sub ability as well, subclass. And finally, I also don't have Gilgamesh, but he's also another option as well. Okay, next for water team, Miranda. Do I have Miranda? Oh no, I only have Miranda in JP. Miranda is the first option, followed by Severo. Severo, I think everybody has him. It's Severo right here. Okay, this is for water team. It's not as good as the ice team, but Miranda does have resistance break and and jamming trust in her kit. The advantage of Miranda over Medina is she has no charge time or whatsoever in ability, unlike Medina. Medina definitely needs time to charge her abilities, but overall does less damage than Medina. Finally, in light team, it actually consists of Ayaka, even though Ayaka is a wind unit. She's great for this fight. Actually, I have not worked on her yet. She's great for this fight because she is wind element. But ironically, in her ability, she has no wind magic or whatsoever. Okay, but she does have Holy. Okay, Holy costs 33 AP and does large light magic. Okay, but since Ayaka is wind elemental, she will deal extra damage to the boss even though she's using light magic. I don't understand why or how this works, but this is how it is right now. On top of that, she also has this shell. Where's this shell? Okay, it's really far right here. Okay, this shell right here. So use this before nuking the boss to smithereens. Okay, bonus strat revolve around Yerma. I don't have Yerma in global as well. She's basically wind elemental and can chain with other Yermas. Okay, she basically offset the bad with the good and suffers only negative 5% overall. Yerma can also use steal time, which pushes the boss turn back a little bit and has sneak attack as her main DPS. Okay, so finally I want to talk about the last point right here, number 12. So should we do solo or multis? Okay, even if you can complete this yourself, you might want to consider hosting to let other people join, because in multis you get host bonus as well as participation bonus. So, kind of like a double bonus. I personally think that you should host, let other people join, get the rewards, and also get a participation bonus. But maybe in the initial stage, you want to do it solo. I mean, it's like easy, and then the first couple of days, the multi is gonna be packed with everyone doing it, and so it might be tough to join any games as well. Okay, so this video actually takes a lot longer than I initially thought it would. You know that it's gonna take a long time to understand the raids and all that, and compile them together into this video. But I hope you guys learned something from this. So anyway, tomorrow I will probably be doing a sample run of the raids for tomorrow's video, or maybe not, I don't know. Subscribe for more of the Vision video, like this video, and comment right down below what do you think of the first raid we have in global. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.